Today marks the 1 week anniversary of the killing of Charlie Kirk for his political beliefs. Many questions remain unanswered. Many new theories pop up on a daily basis. Was he shot from the front? Was he shot from the back? Did this have to do with politics? Did this have to do with lovers in love? More information is going to be coming out. Many are now saying, are the text messages that the FBI released, are those real? Are those fabricated? Is it a setup in order to make Twig, the boyfriend, look innocent? More is going to have to come out. Now, some Democrats are finally admitting publicly that verbally attacking Republicans was stupid and dangerous, calling people a threat to democracy, Nazis, Hitler, over and over again for 10 years was extremely damaging. Listen to what Senator Fetterman, one of the few brave Democrats, had to say on the topic.
Don't compare him to anyone. And if you do, then you will incite somebody to say, well, now I feel like I have to stop that and take them out. People have seemed to have forgotten that the president took a shot to the head. And can you imagine if that shot would have gone the way Charlie Kirk's one, and what kind of condition our nation would be in? This is such a dangerous time right now. And now why? You don't need this an opportunity to share your opinions on it. Just, again, it's appalling, and allow folks enough space to grieve. The man hasn't even been buried yet. And it's like, that's why we wanted to have a conversation, that we have to find a way to work together.
All right. This is the two senators from Pennsylvania trying to come together and set an example of bringing down the temperature. But for him to admit, as the first Democrat, that, hey, our party made a mistake using such violent language, such elevating language, for me, that's a good start. But Charlie Kirk wasn't just targeted by Tyler Robinson for his conservative beliefs. Charlie Kirk was also targeted by Joe Biden and the Department of Justice in an attempt to jail Charlie Kirk for supporting Donald J. Trump. This is another big story that is just coming out. Senator Grassley exposed that Biden had ordered and unleashed the Justice Department to go after Donald J. Trump. Jack Smith and others began going after him for the Mar-a-Lago documents and the January 6th situation. But behind the scenes, they also put together a list of 92 Republican organizations to harass, to try to financially bankrupt, and to shame into non-existence. One of those was Turning Point USA, and they were trying to jail Charlie Kirk before the election so that he couldn't talk about then candidate Donald J. Trump. I'm going to play this from a congressional meeting so you can hear about Operation Arctic Frost and how they were trying to ruin Charlie Kirk and 91 other Republicans.
Central American gangs like MS-13. Now, well, it's well understood that your predecessor left you an FBI infected with politics. I'm going to provide examples of that today, including making public new whistleblower records. At your nomination hearing, I made public records that whistleblowers provided me about Arctic Frost. Arctic Frost was the FBI case opened and approved by antitrust Trump FBI agent Tebow. Arctic Frost then became Jack Smith's elector case against then citizen Trump and now President Trump. These new records show that Arctic Frost was much broader than just an electoral matter. The case was expanded to Republican organizations. Some examples of the group that Ray FBI sought to place under political investigation included the Republican National Committee, Republican Attorney General's Association, and various Trump political groups. In total, 92 Republican targets, including Republican groups and Republican-linked individuals, were placed under investigative scope of Arctic Frost. On that political list was one of Charlie Kirk's groups, Turning Point USA. In other words, Arctic Frost wasn't just a case to politically investigate Trump. It was the vehicle by which partisan FBI agents and Department of Justice prosecutors could achieve their partisan ends and improperly investigate the entire Republican political apparatus. So today, Senator Johnson and I are making these records public for the entire country to see, and I hope a lot of people are interested in seeing what government can do when various agencies have a political agenda.
Biden tells the FBI, go after Trump, go after everyone connected to Trump. They go after 92 groups, including Charlie Kirk. Then the Justice Department, they come in, they start harassing them, sending them lawsuits, threats, demanding records. It was a coordinated hit against Charlie Kirk and President Trump. Now it makes more sense why Charlie Kirk mentioned that he was so grateful that Donald Trump had won, because he was terrified of going to jail and missing out on raising his children. Listen to this.
It's Trump won Pennsylvania that you got emotional and you actually shed a tear or two. I wonder at what point in that emotional response goes from felicity and joy of shedding a tear of this liberator to actually sorrow of seeing that this is going to get to the point where it could lead to oppression. And that's where my question was.
Do you know why I cried on election night?
Because you thought it was a restoration of the Judeo-Christian values that are inherent to the country, the Constitution.
Let me tell you why, because I think you might appreciate this as a historian. Joe Biden sent the entire federal government after Turning Point USA and me personally. They wanted me in federal prison.
Right.
We don't want that. And by the way, that's what despots do, not
Sure.
Donald Trump. Let me finish. And so when Donald Trump won, it was a sigh of relief that maybe I won't have to go to federal prison.
Sure.
All right. I never fully understood why he said that, and now it makes total sense. Now, the state of Florida is launching an investigation, issuing subpoenas to former Biden officials who targeted Charlie Kirk, Turning Point USA, and the other 91 conservative groups. Following the revelation, the Democrats used Arctic Frost as a program to target their political enemies. They were absolutely trying to bankrupt Turning Point USA. They wanted to keep him from being able to talk about Donald Trump and conservative values. It's so disgusting to me as we learn more and more about the corruption of the American government. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but this is like really, really bothersome to me. All right, now some positive news. Speaking of legal stories, the state of Maine and Oregon are refusing to clean up their voter rolls. They are trying to keep illegal immigrants, dead people, and people that moved away from the state on their voter rolls. Why? So that more ballots can be printed, mailed out, or used in the upcoming election. This is disgusting and disturbing. So now you've got the assistant AG, Harmeet Dillon. She is suing Oregon and Maine for refusing to remove these people. They're literally trying to keep these people on the voter rolls so that they can cheat in the upcoming election. And now we know, thanks to Judicial Watch, that they have removed 5 million dirty names from voter rolls around the country. But now they're getting pushback from Oregon, from Maine, from Illinois, and even California. Listen to what Tom Fitton over at Judicial Watch had to share with us about the lawsuits that they are filing.
Judicial Watch lawsuits and legal actions under the National Voter Registration Act has forced 5 million dirty names to be removed from the rolls. 5 million dirty voter names. These are names that shouldn't have been on the rolls. They should have been removed because they were old, moved away, or died. And New York City removed 1 million names or so. LA County removed over 1 million names. Here in DC, they removed a bunch of names. Pennsylvania, Colorado, Kentucky, you name it. But there's still much more heavy lifting to be done. 5 million is just a portion of the dirty names that are on the rolls nationally. And that's why we filed new lawsuits in Oregon, Illinois, and California to clean up the rolls in those states. The various state bodies and left-wing interest groups went to court to try to stop our cases from going forward. And over the last 2 weeks, we had 3 different courts authorize our cases to go forward.
All right. The only way that we're going to win elections going forward is good ideas and clean voter rolls. We can't have these, we can't have illegal immigrants, dead people, people who have moved from other states or to other states able to vote in our upcoming elections. It's absolutely disturbing to me. Now, I have a special guest that I want to bring on for this next portion. It's somebody that the audience has come to love. It's Kim Bright. Kim, thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, thanks for having me back. Such a joy to be with you.
Absolutely. Wanted to just get your thoughts really quickly. You know, we're at the 1 week of Charlie Kirk being taken out for his political beliefs. We're now finding out that Biden just absolutely unleashed the FBI and the DOJ onto conservatives. Your thoughts on this political weaponization that was launched against conservatives like you and I?
Well, it doesn't surprise me. We knew this is what he was doing, and now we can take action against it. And I'm so happy to see that we are doing immediate action towards these groups. We have such incredible people that President Trump has placed in his cabinet and in the Justice Department, and they're not waiting. They are jumping on it. And so to see Harmeet get right into action with Oregon and Maine really is wonderful. And, you know, it's just so sad that it's been a week since, you know, beautiful Charlie Kirk was taken from us. But as his beautiful wife so eloquently said, they don't know what they've done, and they don't know what is going to happen from it. And I think we're seeing some incredible things. And I also think, Stephen, that if people didn't realize, I think they are coming to realize what you and I have been saying for a long time. We are dealing with a spiritual war here. We are dealing with good and evil. We are dealing with different grades of it. Yes, some is less, some is more, but it's what it is. And the sooner people can recognize that we do have evil and we need to fight against it. And the way to fight against it is the way Charlie was doing it, and doing it correctly, and using the justice system like President Trump has been doing in his Justice Department, and everyone recognizing their maker, their God, and putting that spiritual fire back in us. I think we're going to really change some things. And that is the good thing that has come out of this. And, you know, I just wanted to say something really weird. I think that it's a very interesting scenario that's there now, but I happened to look up Charlie's name at 6:15 at night, which is Eastern time, on the 10th. And I saw something very strange. And I saw on that page, when it pulled it up and the different articles and things, BBC, New York Times, and a few others had said, and it said 22 hours ago, that Charlie Kirk had been shot. I find that very interesting, don't you?
Yeah, very weird.
At 6:15 on the 10th, and it stated that 22 hours ago. I think there are a lot of strings hanging out here that Kash Patel and the whole justice system needs to pull and go after. I think we're looking at something that might be bigger than what we are seeing in front of us.
Yeah, I agree with you. Speaking of bigger, I saw today that over 30,000 applications have come into Turning Point to start a new chapter. So, you know, as Jesus said, you put a kernel into the ground and something so much bigger grows out of this. I believe something big is going to grow out of this. And, you know, there's a lot of people around the world. They don't believe in God. They don't have any kind of spiritual framework, but they still want immortality. I don't know if you saw this, but on a hot mic, Vladimir Putin was in China visiting, and he's telling Xi Jinping, did you know that we can almost live forever? All we have to do is organ harvesting, and we can take other people's organs and make ourselves live much longer. Pretty soon, being 75 will be like being a kid. Did you see that? If so, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I did, and it's sickening to me, and it's evil to me, because they're talking about using organ transplants to make themselves immortal. And anybody that knows about organ transplants, they're harvesting from people that aren't even dead yet. So to me, this is pure evil. This is the dark side. And and for the rest of us, life expectancy is declining. So they're talking about immortality. We're having, our life expectancy is declining. We're having incredibly wonderful people taken out from underneath us, and it's very sickening. But for me, that they would laugh about it and joke about it as they're walking. This just shows what side they're on.
Yeah. Where are they going to get those organs, right? You can't just grow organs. So they're going to take them. And we've been hearing about this, Xi Jinping in China using the Uyghurs for organs and for slave labor. I saw this for the first time in 30 years, life expectancy has gone backwards. So as you were saying, people are actually living shorter lives, not longer lives. RFK Jr. has talked about this, saying we live in the greatest country in the world, and yet we have the sickest population in the world. Does this come down to our new habits, our lifestyle, the food that we're putting in our mouths? What do you think is accounting for that going backwards in life expectancy?
Well, in 2014, the life expectancy peaked at 78.8 years. And then during the next several years, it fell modestly before it tumbled downward in 20 and 21. And they want to make it seem like COVID was the reason for lower life expectancy throughout the 20th century. But clearly the decline began before COVID, because it started back in 2014. And the sharpest decline since 2020, well, that did not happen when the pandemic started, but rather since the vaccine was introduced. So I think that it's all kinds of things, but it started after, the vaccination. Now, COVID is showing up no longer as one of the top 10 diseases and causes of death. More people are now dying from suicide. And, it's just so sad, Stephen, because life expectancy isn't bouncing back the way that we would expect it to. If COVID was the primary cause of the sharp decline, which was 2020 and 2021. So now that we're looking at all the complications, though, and the premature deaths that have resulted since the COVID vaccine was given, it seems like the unlikely culprit. I think there are so many different things that are, the onslaught that is coming at us from the air we breathe, from the water we drink, from the soils that are just inundated with chemicals. And looking at all of this, I mean, now, we're seeing turbo cancers and all kinds of things pop up from whatever it was. And now they want to bring in this universal cancer vaccine, which is crazy. They're not looking at the cause of things. They're looking at the symptoms, the result of what originally caused things. So it's really unsettling to think that now they're going to try and develop something else to make a lot of money off and try and push it on us as the answer. I mean, they're going to try and get everybody to take it, Stephen. And I don't believe, no matter how hard they try, I'm sorry, health is not found in a vaccine. Natural immunity is so superior to the synthetic immunity that they're trying to push on us. And you can see it right there. It's they're trialing it in mice, and they're saying, oh, it's going to be useful for all kinds of cancers. And they're making it seem so simple, and people have to get over this thing of, let's just pop, this cancer drug and everything will be okay. I mean, we have to support our immune system. We have the protector of our body is 70-80% of it's in our immune system. And, another thing that starts in our gut too is how quickly we age. And that has to do with our cellular metabolism. I mean, people are aging faster than ever before. And that's, again, goes back to what I said earlier, the toxins in the air, the chemicals in the soil, the food, the other external factors that we're dealing with. And vaccines are not, they're not old, they're new. They're fairly new if you look at, how long we've been around. So, but what most people don't know is we can actually fight aging on a cellular level and do it naturally.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for RFK Jr. He's been exposing a lot of this. Did you know that Senator Ron Johnson, he brought in a bunch of America's top doctors, and he told them, did you know that when you give the Pfizer or Moderna shot, that they tell you that it's supposed to stay in your arm and be agitated and then create immunity? And instead, it was leaking into all of the internal organs, into people's gut lining, into their reproductive organs, into their lungs, up into their heart. And then it was literally spinning out of control, like a factory creating spike protein, making people sick. And these doctors, they sat on this panel going, I didn't know that. Like I've injected thousands of people and had no idea that I was injecting them. I just think, we don't really know what's in these, and yet doctors are injecting them like crazy. Then we find out,
Stephen, they've been trained though. This is the whole thing is, if you look at how doctors have been trained in Western medicine, it is to look at the symptoms, address the symptoms with a drug, and then give a person a drug. They don't look at the whole person. They don't look at the natural approaches. They weren't trained in that. So it doesn't surprise me that these doctors didn't know, because they've been trained to think like this. They've been trained to accept what's presented to them.
Yeah. I mean, they have this like mixture of God complex with we do whatever we're told by Big Pharma. Big Pharma's infiltrated the textbooks, the school curriculum, the insurance agencies. They've infiltrated the mainstream media. Literally, CNN, MSNBC, none of them could exist without Big Pharma. Help me understand this. I'm reading how you had mentioned that we're aging faster than ever. Something that you and I talk about regularly is kimchi. Why is fermented food so good on a cellular level for helping us avoid aging?
Well, this study, I got very excited about this study because this was an in vitro study, and they used hydrogen peroxide to speed up aging. And here we are talking about slowing aging for all of us. And this study actually proved that when you put in a fermented food, when you put in kimchi, they took cells from young people, middle-aged people, and older people, put them in vitro and tried to speed up the aging with the hydrogen peroxide. When they took an extract of kimchi and they put it into these different age cells, every single cell slowed down with the aging. They proved that they could slow the aging on the cellular level, because when you slow the aging on a cellular level, you're going to slow the aging of your tissues, which is the combination of your cells, which ultimately slows down the aging of your entire body. Isn't that amazing, Stephen? This is so incredible that a fermented food that's been around for centuries, could slow aging down in a test tube. That we can see and present as fact to people now. No matter what the age of your cells are, you can reverse and slow aging.
Oh man, that's amazing. A couple of nights ago, well, I guess it was about a week ago, we had some friends over, and she was complaining that she had to go to the doctor for her guts. And I said, haven't you had a couple of emergency surgeries? And she said, yes. I said, I bet you've completely destroyed your gut with all of the antibiotics that you've been on. IV antibiotics, amoxicillin, Z-Paks, all of that wipes out your gut. So I've got her taking the kimchi in order to rebuild her gut. What about like mold and different things like that gets into our body?
Well, here's the thing, as I dive deeper and deeper into the amazing food kimchi, it never ceases to amaze me how powerful, how many powerful differences this superfood can actually make in our body. And I will tell you that if you have fungus, if you have bad bacteria, if you have viruses, if you have parasites, which 98% of people have all of these things in their body. All right. I hate to tell you this, but it's because of everything that's been, going into our body, whether we've breathed it, whether we've eaten it, whether we've drank it. Kimchi is anti-parasitic, antiviral, antibacterial, and antifungal. So it is going in with these powerful over 900 different unique probiotics and repopulating the gut. And these other parasites and funguses and pathogens can't survive when the good guys are overtaking our gut. They cannot survive. And so you are making your gut healthier, because as we age, we become more susceptible to viruses, to bad bacteria. You get sick more often. People have overgrowth of fungus, especially candida. They can't get rid of it no matter what they do. Parasites are infecting you, and you have symptoms that you have no idea that are from parasites. You aren't even aware of the cause. So over centuries, I mean, time and time again, kimchi has shown the power to battle these evil little critters, these evil microbials, and doing it naturally and effectively. And again, going back to antibiotics, there's no side effects with kimchi. It is populating the good guys and it is getting rid of the bad guys. Whereas with antibiotics, it kills everything off and it makes you weaker, and your gut gets weaker, and everything in your body gets weaker, because all the health starts in your body, in your gut, and all the sickness starts in the gut.
Yeah.
So that's why we created Kimchi One.
Yeah, and I love it. It was so helpful. I take it every single day. Whenever I run into people that are telling me, "Oh, I'm having this issue or this," I'm like, "You got to try this Kimchi One." What is the feedback that you guys are getting as far as how it's helped them with their own health journey?
Well, first of all, most people don't like that are American. It's a very unusual taste, odor. And so they give us the feedback. Thank you for making this, because I've tried to eat kimchi. I heard how good it is, and I can't get it near my mouth. I can't get it near my nose. I don't know. I want to have the benefits, but thank goodness that you created this. They also said that they try and eat kimchi, some people that like it, but they can't eat it every day. So by giving them a capsule in the capsule form, Kimchi One, with all the benefits still there, they're getting it and consuming it daily. And people that were on sodium restricted diets also say to us, thank you for making this, because the kimchi that I want to eat has too much salt in it. And so I'm on a restricted diet. I can't have it, but there's hardly any sodium in your capsule. So thank you. And then they notice, first and foremost, their digestion changes. Their regularity changes. They don't have gas coming out both ends. They aren't having this tremendous bloating that they couldn't get rid of, or the constipation anymore. And people used to get sick a lot, they told us. And even after only being on the Kimchi One for 2 or 3 months, they're saying, I don't feel like I'm getting sick, or I'm not getting sick as much. And so this is wonderful, because it shows that that immune system's being bolstered, that our immune system, 70-80% is in our gut. It is being helped. It is becoming healthier. And their energy levels, they really noticed too, Stephen. So many people after they got the jab had chronic fatigue. They had aches, they had pains. We have so many people that told us they couldn't get rid of these symptoms after the vaccinations, and they've now gotten rid of them. They're living life to its fullest again. They've reduced obesity. People that had stubborn weight, they couldn't budge. Now their waistlines are coming in. They're losing pounds. Their body mass index has changed. And there's actually studies that show that kimchi helps with that. And then people are commenting, my skin has changed. My skin is so much healthier looking. People are telling me I'm actually glowing. I look younger now. And so they've seen a very big difference in their skin. And some people have even told us their hair's growing back. And so this is, this is wonderful. Again, that post-vaccination syndrome, that I think is so huge because so many people were so affected by that. And so, and they couldn't even pinpoint where their problems were coming from. So now, Kimchi 1 has been incredible for them.
Yeah, no, I love it. In fact, I want to give you guys a shout out. If you guys want to learn more about kimchi, give them a call at 888-908-4425. You can snap the QR code or go to mybrightcore.com/kimchi and use code Gardner for 25% off. But why would you get 25% off when you could get up to 50% off plus free shipping? That saves you guys a ton of money. You guys have people right here that can help walk them through and better understand that. Now, you had mentioned to me off camera that the first 100 people that call are also going to get a bottle of vitamin D and K2. Is that right?
Yeah, we just upgraded our vitamin D3 to include K2 with it. So we're going to give the first 100 callers a free bottle. And, I'm an educator. I've been educating people on health for almost 50 years now. And it's really important to me that you are able to call and talk to us and make sure this is the right thing for you and right product for you, and ask us questions. We don't mind. We love helping you. So, call that number 888-908-4425 and get some kimchi 1.
All right. Kim, thank you so much for coming on and helping me go through the health portion of this show. We'll have you back on in the future. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, and you have a blessed day, Stephen.